video 4 of the Maya interface series, and in this tutorial we're going to focus on the panel. The panel is this area here, also known as a viewport, and in the panel shows us what you would see from a virtual camera. It gives us 3D space. At the bottom is the name of that camera, and in the bottom left shows you the axes, X, Y, and Z, in which way they're facing. For example, front to back, from where I'm pointing is Z, left to right is X, and up and down would be Y. Okay, and the panel has its own toolbar, and all of these things have to do with the camera and camera settings. So if I select the camera, I can look at the camera attributes, where it has all of these different things about the camera that we can tweak and change. I can create bookmarks of specific camera views. I'm not going to get into navigation of the camera. I'll do that in the next tutorial, but you can move the camera around objects, and there's image plane setups, and all of these we'll get into later, but basically they refer to how things are shown on the camera. Like, how are objects shown? Are they shown in wireframe? Are they shown shaded? Do we see lighting? Do you want to see title safe or action safe areas? Do you want to see the film or resolution gates of the camera? Lots of other things. We'll get into those as we do more advanced projects. Just know they're there. If you tap the space bar, you will get what's known as a four-view. You can have you can see multiple layouts at the same time, and each has its own panel. So only one panel is active at the time. You'll see a line around it, designating it as the active one. You have perspective cameras, which have which things get smaller as they go back, and you also have orthographic cameras, such as the top, front, and side. If I want one of these to become full screen, I can hover over that and tap the space bar again, and now the front becomes the main panel there. Shortcuts to these panels can be found here. This is the panel view of one panel. This is the four view, and these are just various other layouts that bring in other windows that are very important. Like this has our outliner, I believe, with a panel view. This one has our animation editor with a perspective view. This has our, I think, materials with our perspective view. But I'm going to go back up here and just show you how you can change. So you see how we can tap the space bar and see change what you see in this window by going to panels, perspective. If there were other perspective cameras, you could create a new one. Or I could say I want this to be the front side, and now I'm looking at the front side, and if I space bar out, now I have two fronts. So I'm going to change this back to the perspective view, but that's the panel view. And while I'm here, I'll go ahead and knock out these. These are just your tools, very basic. We're going to go over these 100 times during the course. But this is your select tool. These are other types of selection tools. I think this allows you to make a lasso, and you can select certain components within that lasso. This is a paint on selection. If I have an object and I want to paint the faces, to select. And this is a move tool. You click that and I can move these arrows in 3D space by their axes. These small squares will allow you to move in just these two axes or these two axes, and which can be helpful. There's a rotate, where I can rotate in different directions, and there's a scale, which I can scale universally or in specific axes. And if you notice in the channel box, that updates as I do those. So those are some of our basic, most used tools, and a few layouts and the panel. I'll see you in the next video where we talk about the bottom section, which includes the range slider and the time slider,